Ah, the Pony Express. In its 18 months of operation, it played a large role in connecting California to the rest of the United States. Riding on horseback, the extraordinary riders rode miles upon miles in dangerous conditions just to deliver mail. In a historic first delivery, they were able to deliver mail from St. Joseph, Missouri to San Francisco, California in just 10 days. Before the Pony Express, mail delivery was fairly insufficient. With the influx of settlers and pioneers to California, common mail delivery services just were not cutting it. Here's where the Pony Express comes into play. Founded, owned, and operated by the freighting firm of William H. Russell, Alexander Majors, and William B. Waddell, these men sought to deliver mail as far as 1,840 miles. The three men decided to set up a new corporation, the Central Overland California and Pikes Peak Express Company, for liability purposes. They acquired equipment, facilities, and experienced personnel from the Chorpenning Stage Company and bought smaller passenger freight and mail businesses outright. Each of the three men had their own specific role. Russell went to represent Russell, Majors, and Waddell in the complex world of national politics. Majors managed the operation on the open range, and Waddell oversaw purchasing, hiring, payroll, and bookkeeping. The men eventually prepared a roughly 1,840-mile long trail and nearly 200 stations on that trail in which the riders transferred onto a new mount, or if they were done riding for that day, they could rest and eat. After the riders were hired, the horses were bought, and the trail was prepared, the Pony Express was finally ready for operation. The very backbone of the Pony Express was the riders. The Pony Express recruitment advertisement called for young men who were under the age of 18 and who were willing to risk death daily. They also stated that they preferred orphans. They were offered a wage of $25 a week or $100 a month. Depending on the quality of their work, they may be paid up to $150 a month. This was a pretty hefty wage for the time, but worth it for how dangerous the Pony Express was. The Pony Express was a pretty dangerous job, requiring riders to ride for long distances in dangerous situations. Runs were typically 75 to 100 miles long, with 4 to 7 horse changes in each run. Before the riders could start, they were required to take an oath. I do hereby swear before the great and living God that during my engagement and while an employee of Russell, Majors, and Waddell, I will, under no circumstances, use profane language, that I will drink no intoxicating liquors, that I will not quarrel or fight with any other employee of the firm, and that in every respect I will conduct myself honestly, be faithful to my duties, and so direct all of my acts as to win the confidence of my employers. So help me God. Given just a Bible and a gun, the riders set off on the trail with a mochila, a specially designed saddlebag which weighed 20 pounds when filled with mail. At one point, one of the riders, Buffalo Bill, now a famous man, wrote about how he was attacked by 15 Indians, and when he arrived at the next station, the stock tender was dead and the horses were driven off. Buffalo Bill was then forced to travel 24 miles on just one horse. The conditions that the riders had to endure were rough. Forced to ride in hazardous conditions and always vulnerable to attack by Indians, it was surprising that only 4 men died on the trail. One was hanged after getting drunk and committing murder, 1 died in an unrelated accident, and 2 froze to death. The Pony Express got caught in the middle of the Pyramid Lake War. Because of this, stations were burned down, station keepers were killed, and the equipment and horses were stolen. Riders faced the possibility of getting chased or killed by Indians every day. Not only did the riders have to endure rough conditions, but the station keepers too. Most of the stations had dirt floors and awful furniture. Food at the smaller stations was barely sufficient to keep workers from starvation. Thankfully, bigger stations had extra sleeping quarters and food for riders. Overall, both the riders and the station keepers were required to endure tough conditions, and their way of life was far from ideal. The The immediate cause of the demise of the Pony Express was the completion of the transcontinental telegraph in the October of 1861, although there were many other things leading up to its failure. The burning down of stations, the killing of station keepers, and the stealing of horses and equipment caused a substantial blow to the company. The general public found the sending of mail too expensive at $5 per ounce, and even when the rates were lowered to $1 per ounce, the average citizen still could not afford it. Because of this, the Pony Express had to rely on businesses and newspaper companies for profit. In the end, the income just did not meet the daily expenses of $1,000 per day. Eventually, Majors prepared for bankruptcy by authorizing the sale of the company's assets for the benefits of its creditors. In December 1860, Russell was arrested and charged with accepting stolen government bonds. 2 days after the completion of the transcontinental telegraph on October 24, 1861, the Pony Express announced its closure, although continuing its service into November to deliver any undelivered mail in their possession. In its 18 months of operation, the Pony Express completed a total of 308 runs, traveled around 616,000 miles, and delivered 34,753 letters with only one mochila lost. In the end, the company's inability to make a profit led to its demise. Nowadays, you can visit many sites such as a Pony Express station or even go on a Pony Express re-ride to get a feeling of what the riders had to experience, minus the Indians. Overall, the Pony Express made a fairly large impact in its 18 months of operation, connecting California with the rest of the United States, and although it was a failure, its legacy still lives on to this very day.